to tell everybody about, I'm a big history buff, and I like to know the history of the place I'm living at the time. And just want to tell you a little bit about this. I'm on the Kentucky River here in Winchester, Kentucky, and I did some research on this a couple years ago. One of my buddies and me went to Cumberland Falls, and when we were at Cumberland Falls, I noticed that there was, and this was probably about 2 years ago, I noticed there was foundations on the beach, not too far down from Cumberland Falls. And so I went home and I researched it, and it turned out that people used to swim there back in the 50s, maybe a little later. But anyway, I searched that up, and then Boonsboro Park came up too, and Boonsboro Beach, which, I already passed. I don't know if I did a video of it, maybe later. It was a really hot spot to swim and hang out, and I'm sure people had a lot of parties and things. Unfortunately, from what I understand, in the late 80s or very early 90s, they told people they weren't allowed to swim there anymore because of chemicals, I think. There's a few stories. There's one about that the Ford, this area is called Ford, some part of this area. And on Wikipedia, it says it's not a township anymore, but it was a township. And Ford was about, probably from the mid-1800s through the 1910s, was a logging area, and people logged there. And of course, before that, in the 1860s, there was a couple of forts around here, including the famous Fort Boonsboro, which is not the original anymore. They had updated it. I think the original is long gone, but they found the original location not too far from there. And so that picture was probably from the 60s, I would say. And it was either that the Ford power plant, which was right next to the B&O Railroad bridges, which I'd love to do a video about, but I'm going to have to get my own kayak because there's no way to access the other side of the dam unless I go to a different boat dock, not to Boonsboro. So I'll have to have my own kayak. That they said that I've had several people tell me that power plant, which was recently deconstructed, it was recently torn down within either the beginning of this year or the end of last year. They've been doing it for a few years because it was an eyesore, and it didn't look safe. It didn't look structurally sound, and so they tore that down. But there's still an office down there for CSX, and there's a little guard shack. Unfortunately, I can't climb the bridge or get anywhere near the bridge because they have cameras everywhere, and the one time I asked, they said I could look at it, but I couldn't get on it. And I didn't bother to actually try to get on there because all there seems to be is one large 4x4 beam that goes to the bridge. Now there's a second bridge right next to it, and that one's still used, so I think they're more worried about the newer people going to the wrong bridge. But the first bridge in Ford was it was deactivated around between like 67 and 70, so the late 60s, early 70s, when CSX bought and a few other companies bought most railroads. And someday I'm going to make a video about that, but I have to figure a way to get over there, or at least to be able to paddle under it to be able to get a picture. If you look on YouTube for the B&O Railroad bridges, you'll find one guy that used a drone, but you don't find anybody actually exploring it or paddling under it. I want to do that, and I probably won't go on the bridge, but I want to get close to the bridge. But anyway, I can't get to that today, so I just thought I'd give you a little history there, and have a good one.